Welcome to the Black Knight Nation podcast. I'm your host, Sal Internado. The Black Knight Nation podcast is brought to you by Higher Echelon. Higher Echelon is a company run by former Army football fullback Joe Ross. He was a coach at Army and an officer, and we really appreciate Higher Echelon sponsoring our podcast. Check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can find some great interviews. We just had Justin Schaff, former Atlanta Falcons scout, on to talk about Andre Carter and what Andre Carter might look like in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings. Check out that podcast. And, we welcome in Jeremy Boltus here today. Jeremy, thanks so much for joining us. I believe you're our first lacrosse guest other than Coach Joe Aberisi. So we really appreciate you coming on, Jeremy. And we have Seth Mendelson also with us today to talk to you. Thanks so much, Jeremy.
Yeah, appreciate the opportunity, guys. Nice to see you. Good morning.
Yeah, we're doing this bright and early, but it's game week for Army. It's NCAA game week for the Army lacrosse programs, men and women. So we'll talk about that a little bit. The men are playing Maryland on Saturday night, right, Seth? That'll be a really good game. And the women are playing James Madison on Friday. Jeremy, I was doing a little background on you, and I guess you're back home, right? You're in Syracuse right now, and that's kind of is that where it all got started for you in lacrosse?
It is where it all got started. It was, played 3 sports back in high school. Lacrosse was kind of my ticket. I think I knew I was going to be the best at that. I wanted to play in high school and in college. And then, fast forward things, got recruited by Coach Alberisi, took the opportunity, took the leap, never was a military, person by any means, but just wanted to try something different. Definitely wanted to play Division I lacrosse, and I think it worked out for myself, for Army, and my career and what I'm doing now too. So it's been super beneficial, and I'm very, very proud of everything that we've accomplished in the past.
What's recruiting like on the especially that you're a high school coach now at Christian Brothers in Syracuse? But, I mean, it's a little bit different than football, obviously. You're probably looked at, like, freshman, sophomore year, maybe. When did you make your decision to go to West Point?
So I was actually super late, and I know things, they go kind of a roller coaster, a little slinky effect. But when I was getting recruited, it was your junior year was your big year. And then that summer when the telephones opened up to coaches, a lot of people made that decision. But a couple years after I graduated college, it was like, freshmen and 8th graders were getting committed, making verbals and stuff like that. So again, I don't know if that was the best for the NCAA for colleges per se, but they did put a new rule in a little bit ago, probably five years ago or whatever, that are now catering to recruiting back to seniors, juniors, sophomores, that sort of thing. Just for development's sake and everything like that. But like I said, I was super late. I was probably 90% going to go to Le Moyne because recruiting story where my phone number was wrong on my player profile sheet and during the Empire games, Central New York Empire games, and had a really good tournament, wasn't getting any phone calls, and heard from the U Penn coach that I was a hard guy to get a hold of. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure what you're talking about. He's like, hey, your number was wrong in your player profile sheet. So, I was Le Moyne right down the road here, very close to committing there. But Coach Alberisi saw me at a fall tournament my senior year, which is pretty unheard of for, recruiting nowadays, but especially at an academy. Like I said, took the leap and don't have any regrets. I had the best time at Army, learned so much, and, development from a player perspective, from a growing up maturity perspective. It was just a great ordeal for me. So that's kind of how it went.
Hey Jeremy, I see Le Moyne's going Division I.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting. They have 6 national titles in men's lacrosse in Division II, and now jumping over to Division I. What do you think about that for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting, right? I think it's exciting for the kids, definitely. And I had a couple players. This is my second year at CBA that went to Le Moyne, so definitely look into them and rooting them on. But I mean, they've definitely built a powerhouse there in D2, and just amongst all levels, right? Parity is a normal thing. You can see all these. It used to be the solid blue bloods, and I see your Syracuse shirt on right there. They went to 20 straight Final Fours, right? But now they're scratching and clawing to make the tournament just because, kids just want to play and kids just want to go to spots that are best for them, and so they can get on the field and show what they got. So, like I said, for across Division 1, 2, and 3, you have talent at all those levels, and you can see for professional drafts and everything like that. And there was a D3, the kid that just got drafted out of Salisbury a couple of nights ago. Just, the talent level is at an all-time high, and I think that, with Lemoyne and their tradition, their rich tradition that they have, I think they're going to do well at that level. And definitely at men's lacrosse. I know they have a couple other sports that are pretty well in depth there, but like I said, I think kids are still going to go there. They're going to latch onto that tradition, and they got a good coach there, Dan Sheehan, and from West Jenny, and I think they're going to do well. I think it's exciting for a lot of people. I personally don't like that can't play in the tournament for 4-year rule, but I mean, what are you going to do? It's crazy.
Yeah, the NCAA's got to change that. I was talking to somebody last night after I heard the news, and the Northeast Conference does not have lacrosse, but apparently that's going to change because of Lemoyne. They're going to start a lacrosse league. I guess, I don't know how they're going to fill that up, who's going to play, who's not going to play. But lacrosse is the hottest sport around right now in terms of, growth. And you see it growing further west. You got Michigan in the tournament this year. You got Utah in the tournament this year.
Yeah.
So it definitely is expanding out. Does seem that the ACC and the Big Ten seem to dominate. I guess the Ivies also. But I guess this year we have we have Army in there, and let's turn our attention to the game there. What do you think about the game on Saturday?
Yeah, I think I speak for many alumni that we're all super excited, and more so just super proud of just the job that Coach Alvarisi and the staff, Kyle Georgalis, Justin Ward, continue to do. Churning out just great seasons. Year after year, and especially with the depth that they lost last year, you can read all the articles, and it's been well spoken to. But I know Coach Alvarisi is not one to harp on those accolades and stuff like that. But all the credit to the kids, right? I mean, they just buy into the program, they buy into that family aspect, and they're super talented now. I mean, back when I played and when I went to school there, we weren't necessarily going to be the most talented, the most stick work kind of a group that would partake in NCAA tournaments or whatever, but we definitely had the mentality that we were going to outwork you. I think now the playing field is a little bit level where that work ethic is still there, right? It's always going to be there with Coach A at the helm, but now they're getting top recruits. You can see early commits that people just want to go there. I think the balance has kind of shifted a little bit. It used to be Navy when I was a freshman, they were on a 13-year win streak against Army. But now things have kind of leveled back to the mean a little bit. And kids just want to, like I said, they want to get on the field. They want to play. And who better to play for than Coach Alvarisi and that staff? It's just, like I said, a great experience that I had. And all the credit to the kids that are going through it now. They're just, using that chip on their shoulder that they created in the preseason where no one was talking about them. And like I said, they took the reins a little bit, won the Patriot League, and I think they got the talent to do some serious damage in the tournament here.
Yeah, well, it's a young team still. It's I think there's only 2 starting seniors, of course, Knox Dent, the goalie, and Deacon Donaldson. Those are the only 2 starters, as far as I can recall. You have a bunch of juniors, real good offensive players. And then you have some sophomores. Will Coletti at the faceoff is unbelievable this year. Absolutely. And then, of course, you have Evan Plunkett, Evan Plunkett, a freshman, and Gunnar Fellows, a freshman, and one more, John Sullivan, who have, I talked to Joe about this quite a bit. These guys have come out of nowhere in terms of the NCAA. Joe knew he had a talent, but
for sure,
it's very impressive. A young team.
It is impressive, and I think I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but I do want to mention him, AJ Pilot. I think he's just an absolutely phenomenal defender. That guy's straight lockdown on his matchup and allows the defense to do other things rather than sliding to him and worry about his matchup. So he's incredible. But like you said, all those names that you mentioned, Reese Burrick, I know he's a upstate guy, so we're a little bit biased here. He's Rochester. Love the way he plays, and just like I said, the way that they've finished last year and built on that momentum, and then you have new kids, new younger class people that are stepping up and taking the reins a little bit. That's awesome to see. And anything could happen in the tournament, right? So you saw Will Colletti get super hot at the faceoff X. That's huge. That's absolutely incredible for possessions and possession time and controlling the game, controlling the tempo that you want to play at. And then, knocks Dent in the goal, just having a incredible senior year. And he waited his turn, kept grinding, but I'm very, very happy for him that he's showcasing play at the highest level and to prove that he's one of the best goalies in the nation. So, like I said, they have pieces at all different areas in the game there that I think they're going to give Maryland all they can ask for.
Jeremy, let's backtrack a little bit to your Army career and just
Sure.
your time. We talked about Evan Plunkett, right, having an impact. What was your talk to us a little bit, walk us through your freshman season starting on, and how that, how your career got started and, it ended. You were still number 3 right now, currently on the Army points list at West Point.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a little bit of a slow start for me, but it was just a little bit as a young kid, right? You don't realize the kind of role and what you're stepping into when you step on campus there at Army. But I think the summer training and playing with the guys helped out a little bit because pretty shell shocked and culture shocked when I immediately went there and I was like, man, can I play with these guys? Self doubt a little bit. But then you start playing with your peers, your classmates, and you can realize that you have the ability to do some things. And then just the leadership group that we had was incredible. They pull you under their wing. They teach you, what you need to know, but they also hold you accountable in the sense of, this is what we're expecting of you, and we need to do. And we had a few injuries that year where I was lucky enough. I think I was a invert midi, getting some playing time early on, but then I had to fill the role of playing and starting an attack as a freshman. So, I was a little bit overweight and not as best player that I could be as a freshman, but ultimately, everything kind of clicked that summer going into my sophomore year where, you realize the things that you need to do in order to be successful on the field. So I took onus of that and like you said, had a great career. And, I attribute all the credit to my coaches and my teammates just for always being there, always making you better. And I think that's what they have this year in the sense of they have a lot of good, talented players that are just making each other better in practice. And you can see that trajectory that they had going throughout the year, and they're continuing on in the NCAA tournament. So, it was a great ride for sure.
I think all that talk by Seth earlier about Lemoyne and stuff was just a smoke screen because he didn't want to talk about your junior year in the NCAA tournament and how you beat Syracuse 9-8 and I think double overtime, right? Seth, you didn't want to talk about that.
I was just about to ask that question
at the beginning of the podcast. So
as you know, I root for Army and Syracuse. So go ahead.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about your junior year and how you were able to, I think was Syracuse the second seeded at that
first
time?
Seed.
They were pretty high.
They were the first.
They were the first seed.
Yeah.
The first seed, 2-time defending champs. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if they're the first seed because I think we were.
Oh, they were. It was 16 against 1. Yeah.
Don't mess around. Yeah.
There you go. But either way, right? My junior year, 2010 season was a straight roller coaster because we hit rock bottom very early in that season where. I think we started off 1-3, 1-4, something like that. We were the first team ever to lose to Air Force, so that was not a good feeling, right? You always have those academy rivals and everything that goes along there. So first time we went out to Colorado Springs too. So a long flight back home, a lot of inner thinking and looking in the mirror to make some changes there. But ultimately, something clicked where we got rolling in the conference play because we still had goals in front of us that, like I said, the AQ is always out there for the NCAA tournament. But I think that was the first year where any team has run the table in the Patriot League and then also to host the tournament and win those 2 games in the Patriot League tournament, defeat Navy for a second time that year. That was a absolutely great feeling. But yeah, I always held a special meaning playing at Syracuse, being from the area here. I'm not going to say that because everything worked out at Army, but as a kid, you always had dreams of going to Syracuse. Those are the games that you watched. I'm now coaching with Ryan Powell, who's the head coach there at CBA. So everything comes full circle. When you're a kid, you're watching, Casey, Mike, Ryan play at Syracuse. Like, man, I want to do this, but never got recruited. So, which is all the better for Army and myself, honestly. But it was a great game, right? I mean, they got the better of us in the regular season, but we knew we could hang. We knew we had some pieces that if we got a little bit better and improved throughout the year, that we could catch them. And like I said, you're saying it's the 1 seed. They were the 2-time defending champs. So, I mean, everyone pretty much had it written in that they were going to the second round there. But, yeah, we came in with a good game plan. I think we mucked it up early a little bit, made a little bit of a run, and then when things got tight, it was just we had a great game by Derek Sipperly that game, won some face-offs for us, controlled the tempo, and then ultimately we took advantage of our opportunity in the second overtime. And I remember the play, it was yesterday. I was coming down the left side. Joel White slid to me, whether that was a warranted slide or not. We always joke about it because we became teammates, Joel, myself, John Galloway with Rochester Rattlers. So joked about it here and there. But, like I said, I saw Devin Lynch on the crease and very happy that he finished it and we moved on in the tournament. So that was a incredible win, incredible feeling, right? And I don't want to, because everyone always wants to talk about Syracuse and everything like that. It was a little bit of a letdown in the second game because we got pretty handled by Cornell. But like I said, just making the NCAA tournament was an incredible accomplishment, and we like to think that we kind of propelled the program a little bit into national recognition to say, hey, we're here and we're not going anywhere, and look what Coach Albrisi and the company are doing now. So it was just a tremendous experience and very grateful for that opportunity.
Excellent.
No doubt. Well, probably one of the bigger wins in the Army in the lacrosse program's history. And so after that, your senior year, right? You're a Thornton finalist for one of the best players in the nation. How did senior year go? And then talk us through like what was life like after West Point and lacrosse.
Sure, no doubt. Yeah, senior year was great. I mean, I think with the expectations coming off the tournament run and everything like that, I think we were picked, 1 and 2 in the preseason for the Patriot League, and definitely had some pieces. However, hit a little bit of an injury bug and just never really put it all together. We had a lot of returning players and key players there on that team, but at the end of the day, we just didn't get it done when we needed to. And like I said, we always had that target on our back. Not making any excuses because, like I said, when teams are improving, new recruits come in, the parity is nonstop in lacrosse, and the sport is growing, and everyone's good now. So it's a challenge, let alone the Patriot League or any conference to try to get that automatic qualifying. But nonetheless, had a good year, and it was just, it's sad, right? When you commit all that time and 4 years you work, and then after you graduate, you miss the practices. You don't know what to do yourself from like 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. because you're always like, I know I'm going to go to the locker room, I'm going to hang out with my buddies, going to lift weights, get to work on my game, whatever it may be. But graduation was awesome. It was just kind of a encompassing of the 4 years and the hard work that we all put in. So graduating from a place like West Point, can't really put into words. It's just a super honor of my life, and very proud for everything that we've all done. But luckily, I was able to continue playing in the professional ranks there, and not as serious as it was today. So I played in the MLL. I think I had played for like 7 or 8 years, and also coached a little bit. But the reason we were able to play is because it was a weekend sort of ordeal where everyone, you're not living off your lacrosse paycheck, and no one's really playing for the paycheck. They're kind of playing to keep the dream alive a little bit and just hang out and have that team aspect in their life. And it was just awesome. But everyone had a 5-day week job, and whenever that was over, everyone would fly to whatever their location was that weekend. You would play, you would practice that night, you would practice a little walkthrough Saturday morning, and then you would play Saturday night. And then everyone would fly back and be ready for work on Monday. So a little bit of a grind, but it was definitely worth it just because, it was the pinnacle of that sport at the time, right? And I know MLL was around for 20 plus years, and then now the PLLs come around, and it's just super exciting that people can have the ability to continue playing after their military duties all out for. And luckily, I was in a situation where I had good commanders, and I ensured them that I wasn't going to miss any work. I got all my work done prior to going out and playing. But they were very supportive of me kind of keeping my dream alive a little bit. So I'm very thankful for all the commanders that I had and all the leadership that let me play, let me travel on the weekends, sort of deal. But there's also times where you can't, where I was on the Denver Outlaws and we were undefeated that year, and I couldn't go to the Final Four in the championship because I had a field exercise that the military ultimately took precedent. So you're going to run into issues, and not issues, but just schedule conflicts that are always going to be there for anyone that graduates in the military here. But like I said, it was just a super great experience. Again, so grateful that I was able to play for in longevity for that year. And I thought that I was done probably after my third year, where I played for 3 years and then got deployed, so I missed the whole year. But luckily, great coach. I'm still best friends with him now. Tim Sudan from Rochester actually coached Reese Burrick at Fairport, where he's from now. Was my head coach for the Rattlers, and he picked me up in the supplemental draft after deployment. I thought I was done, and then gave me the opportunity, and continued on for 4 or 5 more years. So it was just a tremendous experience, and like I said, turning it now to what people are doing now, and it's just incredible to see the likes of Brendan Nichtern, who probably Army's all-time greatest player there. Definitely from an importance perspective, but just the way he led and the way he played the game the right way was just incredible to see. But to see him succeed at the professional level, right? I mean, he was the Rookie of the Year last year as well in the professional PLL there. And then Johnny Surdick too was just an incredible athlete. I think he had a little bit of scheduling conflicts last year, but he was able to get through those, play a couple games, and now I think he's back full time because his schedule allows for it. So it's so exciting to see those guys on a national stage and to have them carry the Army lacrosse name, and to get the program out there and just continue to keep churning out great products year after year, and great talent that everyone develops. It's just incredible to see that that ability is there for all these players.
You were the Major League Lacrosse Rookie of the Year in 2011, right?
Yep,
wow.
I was. Yep.
And then the All-Star in 2015, was that after the deployment or before the deployment?
It was after deployment, so that was the first year I was back.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that, everyone, it's on the resume, right? But it's a very easy game when you go to an All-Star game and just people are at the highest level. And like I said, you just have a head of a stick open. And that was post when I tore an ACL. So like in college, I was like a feeder and all that kind of stuff, more of an initiator. And then you're playing with all these guys where they have, super quicks, super speed, that sort of thing. I became an inside guy, and luckily I had the IQ to know when to cut and what these guys were looking for, that, build some chemistry with these people. And lacrosse is such an easy game if you understand the IQ and stuff like that. So yeah, All-Star MVP, but I give a lot of the credit, almost all the credit, to all my teammates who found me, and I just had the easy part of burying the ball.
Where were you based when you were with Denver those first 3 years before you were deployed? Where were you based in the military?
Yeah, sure. So my first duty assignment was at Colorado Springs.
So it was close by.
It was, but my first year, I was a real journeyman by the end of it. But the first year I was stationed at West Point, actually. I was a grad assistant there when they had that role. So helped out with the prep school during that time, and I was able to play, obviously, because who I reported to was Coach Alvarisi, and he was all for it. And again, he kept my hand to the fire in the sense of not missing anything that required recruiting activities or anything like that. But also gave me the opportunity to allow and play that rookie year. But first year I was actually in Hamilton, Canada, Hamilton, Ontario, where they played. And then the second year they expanded the league, so I went to Charlotte. And then the third year I got traded to Denver, which was great for me and everyone else because, like you said, I was at Colorado Springs, an hour south of Denver. And then deployment was year 4, and I think when I got back, I was still in Colorado and then Oklahoma. So that was a grind where I had to go from Colorado or Oklahoma all the way to Rochester. But did that for two years, and then ultimately got posted at Fort Drum. Again, I didn't want to go to Fort Drum, but that's just how the Army works a little bit. But it worked out in the sense of from a lacrosse perspective, where I was now just a drive. It was an hour and a half drive from Watertown to Rochester, play whatever I got to do, see family on the weekend, and go back. So, like I said, I was able to continue my career after deployment for like 4 or 5 years. So, it's just the way life works a little bit, but it was awesome. Like I said, I would no regrets doing it. Lacrosse has given me so many opportunities that I'm so super grateful for, and you can't really make this stuff up when you're living it, because it's just an awesome time.
What are you up to now, Jeremy, as far as when you're not coaching? What are you doing? Are you still serving or not?
I'm not serving anymore. I got out I think 5 years ago, and then I kind of put my foot in down the road a little bit at Lockheed Martin. So technically not serving, but still serving the military. We're building counterfire radars and doing some systems engineering work, putting my degree to work a little bit down here, where super large defense contractor with, they do Navy, they do air surveillance, all sort of things. So diverse background here of what Lockheed can do. And, it's been super engaging work. And I do feel I still have that sense of, accomplishment and a sense of serving a little bit, that, what we're doing here from a day-to-day is helping out the soldiers that are either deployed or, getting ready to do some exercises, and our equipment's helping them, accomplish their missions and their goals. So that's a pretty cool feeling too.
Absolutely. And you're still involved in lacrosse, right? With being a high school coach. That's probably
still in lacrosse. Yep.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different mentality, right? So I went from playing in the pros to coaching. I did 2 years coaching in the pros as well. And then, everyone has the highest IQ, right? So there's a lot of implied tasks where, they understand the verbiage and stuff like that. Now, being my second year here at CBA, we're struggling a little bit this year. We still have some pieces, and I think we have a shot to make a run at the section here. But it's just, you really have to dumb things down for some of the kids and understand that, they're still growing and they're still learning the game of lacrosse. So ultimately, I'm not doing it for a paycheck. I don't think any of my counterparts are doing it for a paycheck too. It's ultimately helping the youth of lacrosse here and growing the game. And like I said, I think I have a decent knowledge of the game that I would like to pass down and help some of these other kids who really have dreams and aspirations of going to college. And, if I can just send them with one little nugget and they take that, and whether it registers now or in college, that's all the worthwhile for me. So it's kind of where my mentality was at.
Hopefully you're sending some guys, the better players, maybe towards Army, right?
Yes, towards Army, not your shirt.
Yeah, not there.
What do you think about Saturday against Maryland? What does Army have to do? Of course, the face-off we know is very important. What's the key to winning this game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say what the key is per se, because I'm not that too involved in how Maryland has been doing over the year and stuff like that. Obviously, rich tradition, right? And they have a great coach, John Tillman, and everything like that. But I think if they just focus on themselves, they'll be fine, right? Like, control what they can control, which is, doing everything they did in the past to get to this point, right? Will Coletti control the face-off X. I think if they control the tempo, and like I said, their defense is lights out, where I'm sure they're now leading the nation or the second in the nation in goals against. But if you just, continue to play that solid defensive effort, right? Give Knox Dent those shots that he ultimately is comfortable saving, and I think they're going to have super success. And if they keep playing unselfish team aspect on offense like they've been doing all year, they're very hard to stop, right? Because you don't know whether it's, obviously there's a few names, Jacob Morin, Reese, that come to mind of leaders of the offense per se, but it can be anyone. And, like I said, Evan Plunkett could have a great game. Gunnar Fellows can step up. Some of the other middies that,
Paul Johnson. Paul Johnson's having a great season.
I love Paul. I think he's I love the way he plays, and, ambidextrous, right, left. You just can't get a read on him. So again, if they play that team ball, whether they take advantage of their matchups and they win their individual matchups, that ultimately gets that defense moving. And then, they find their off ball players because they're great off ball. I think they're going to have some success. And, I don't think the moment's going to be too big for them. I know Coach Alvarisi is very good at, pregame speeches and getting these guys to understand that this is just another game and just to roll out and continue to do everything that they've been doing throughout the year that's gained them success. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm glad it's a 7:30 primetime game. That way we can wrap up the weekend with it a little bit. And I think we're all, from alumni, friends, and family, we're all rooting Army. We're all wearing black and gold Saturday.
Couldn't have said it any better, Jeremy. We really appreciate you hopping on. Guys, if you're following us, check out Black Knight Nation. Seth Mendelson has coverage from start to finish of this men's lacrosse season. Did a feature on Evan Plunkett, and also is going to have some game coverage for us on Saturday night. We really appreciate Jeremy Boltus coming on, one of the best ever to play at West Point. And check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And Jeremy, thanks so much again, and really appreciate you having you on. And look forward to talking to you down the road. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Appreciate the opportunity, and go Army. Have a good day, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.